What's up, Taiwan? I'm Brossard with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Around a dozen Chinese Coast Guard ships and other vessels have been spotted near Taiwan's outlying Kinmen Islands, with some entering prohibited waters. Taiwan's Coast Guard says this is the first intrusion into the restricted area by both Chinese law enforcement and commercial vessels. Some ships came as close as 4 nautical miles from Kinmen's coast. There's been an influx of Chinese Coast Guard ships in the area since the death of 2 Chinese fishers earlier this year. Officials say it's part of a pressure campaign by China to wear down Taiwan's resources. The military is wrapping up parachute drills in the southern county of Pingdong. 20 soldiers took to the skies and jumped out of a C-130 transport plane flying over 350 meters high. The soldiers aimed to guide their parachutes to splash down in a nearby lake. These exercises are part of training to ensure that the military can land and operate in complex environments. India has pulled its troops from the Maldives at the request of the island nation's pro-China president. President Mohammad Muizzu demanded New Delhi remove around 80 soldiers. India's foreign ministry says they've been replaced by technical personnel. President Muizzu is widely seen as wanting to reduce India's long-standing influence in his country. India's foreign minister says a good relationship between neighboring countries is necessary for stability in the region.
So today we will be reviewing the various dimensions of our ties. It is in our common interest that we reach an understanding of how best we take our relationship forward.
The biggest ever joint military drills held by the Philippines and the U.S. are coming to an end. This year's exercises, which involved the sinking of a mock enemy ship, saw French and Australian forces take part for the first time. And they come amid rising tensions in the South China Sea. Hamiokan reports.
Roaring into the sky, a missile launched from a Philippine Navy ship finds its mark. A decommissioned vessel off the coast of northern Philippines, not too far from Taiwan and neighboring China. It's the culmination of 3 weeks of military exercises held annually by the U.S. and the Philippines. Known as Balikatan, meaning shoulder to shoulder, these drills reaffirm a long-standing alliance.
It's all about partnership and working shoulder to shoulder with our Filipino counterparts, whether they're, like I said, on the ground, maritime, or air component.
But they're also meant to send a message. This year's exercises were bigger than ever, with more than 17,000 troops and observers taking part. The drills also crossed into waters claimed by China, but within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. And for the first time, other allies were involved, including French ships and Australian soldiers. All of this as tensions over territorial claims in the South China Sea continue to grow. Just last week, China again fired water cannons at Philippine ships in disputed waters, a repeated act of aggression that many Filipinos hope U.S. presence in the region will deter.
That's the reason why we are cooperating with them through military exercises like the annual Balikatan exercises through the Visiting Forces Agreement, because that's the only way for us to defend our territory and our national sovereignty.
An international court ruled against Beijing's claims here back in 2016, but since then China has continued to increase its presence. Beijing says the U.S. and the Philippines are provoking conflict with their latest drills.
停止拉帮结派、炫耀武力，停止散布虚假信息，误导国际社会。
As this year's Balikatan comes to a close, tensions in the South China Sea are unlikely to ease, as the Philippines continues to deepen relations with Washington and its allies, rivaling Beijing's growing ambitions in the region. Scott Huang, Gino Lopez, and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has apologized for what he says are shortcomings after his party's major defeat in April elections.
그동안 제가 국정 운영해 온 것에 대해서 이런 국민들의 평가가 좀 많이 부족했다, 이런 것이 담긴 거라고 저는 생각하고 있습니다.
With 3 years left in office, he's pledged to better communicate government policies to the public. He announced plans to open a new ministry to address the country's fast-aging society and record-low birth rate. Yoon also apologized for a scandal around his wife accepting an expensive handbag as a gift, but said calls for a special investigation are a political attack. Taiwan's state-run power company says adding new nuclear reactors to existing power plants will not reduce electricity prices. Taipower's comments come after several prominent business figures called for nuclear power plants to stay open with more modern reactors, a response to the ruling Democratic Progressive Party's plans to stop using the power source in the country. Electricity prices were recently raised nationwide, and repeated local blackouts in recent months have sparked debate. But Taipower says the electricity supply is stable and more nuclear power wouldn't impact prices.
这个基础其实它比原来预期要在完成的基础，它延宕了12年，最后它的整个成本其实是它原来新建的3倍。所以我们大概试算出来、分析出来，它一度电的成本其实也将近3块钱。
Foreign Minister Joseph Wu says the name of Taiwan's representative office in Lithuania will not be changed to appease China.
我们跟立陶宛之间的关系是不会有问题，我们的台湾代表处不会被改变的。
The office currently operates as the Taiwanese Representative Office in Lithuania, which the two governments agreed on in 2021. But in a recent interview, Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda said that changing the office's name to use Taipei might be necessary to stabilize Lithuania's relations with China. Most of these offices in other countries use Taipei instead of Taiwan to avoid angering Beijing. Wu says his office has not received an official request to change the name so far, and that even if a request were made, Taiwan would not accept the change. The Solomon Islands has just voted in a new government, one that's expected to continue developing good relations with China. The Solomons broke off ties with Taiwan in 2019, and it's a decision that has had a lasting effect on many in the Pacific Island nation, as Louise Watt now reports from Honiara.
These old machines remind mechanic Andrew Lano of a better time, when Taiwan was running agricultural projects here in the Solomon Islands. The East Asian country taught farmers how to grow rice, guava and dragon fruit to boost agriculture. But that was before the Solomon Islands cut ties with Taipei in favor of Beijing. Now the Taiwanese are gone, leaving this equipment that Lano maintains.
We are very, very sorry about Taiwan. That's what Taiwan do for us. It's very, very good. When we have problem, we go to them, they help us. When they are here, there are lots, many farmers come.
While times have changed, Taiwan's legacy is still visible. Here, the corn, sweet potato and papaya they planted. The Solomon Islands Agricultural Ministry now distributes the seedlings to poorer provinces under a system the Taiwanese set up. But most other Taiwanese development projects have been abandoned. Taiwan built rice paddies on this plot of land on the edge of the capital Honiara, teaching farmers from remote areas how to plant rice, so the country wouldn't have to import so much. But after Taiwan left in 2019, it was turned into a football field. There is still a lot of support for Taiwan in the Solomon Islands, though it's one of 10 allies China has poached since 2016, as the Beijing government presses its claims of sovereignty over Taiwan. As in other Pacific Island nations, China has come in and built large infrastructure projects, like the venues for the Pacific Games, an Olympic-style event that the Solomon Islands hosted for the first time thanks to China's support, lending prestige to the island's then Prime Minister. Beijing and Honiara say their partnership is about promoting development and alleviating poverty in the Solomon Islands. But others see the country as a pawn in China's greater goal of control over Taiwan.
So they have actually left a lot of legacy, but at the moment it's been kind of wiped out by the activities, the geopolitical competition that is going on here in Solomon Islands, where both Solomon Islands and Taiwan equally victims in this game.
While there is still appreciation here for how much Taiwan has done, China is determined to outshine it, increasing its foothold with every new development. And though gone for several years now, it remains hard for many Solomon Islanders to close the door completely on Taiwan. Klein Wong and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Mother's Day is coming up this Sunday, and while it's a day dedicated to celebrating moms, a single day may not be enough. Many mothers in Taiwan find themselves struggling to balance work and family. Leslie Liao has more.
Taking your baby to work, a sometimes necessary part of parenthood. The unpredictable nature of raising a child is challenging, especially in Taiwan's modern work environment. This is particularly true for working moms who might feel that prioritizing motherhood over their job could harm their career.
其实蛮担心会不会就是主管会想说啊，你怎么一直在请假？
In the lead up to Mother's Day, a job search platform conducted a study asking married women how accommodating they felt their workplaces are towards women. Respondents gave an average rating of 4.4 out of 10 to their employers. And over half of respondents said that they were given a hard time by coworkers or superiors when pregnant or raising their kids.
在职场上感觉到最大的压力来源，可能包含像是临时请假可能会被为难，或者是呢，他担心生完小孩之后没有办法重返工作岗位，或者是同事主管的态度不太友善。
The study also found that working moms are more tired than ever before. Like many countries around the world, moms are celebrated in Taiwan on Mother's Day. But given how hard it is to be a mother in the modern world, with the need to balance parenthood, a career, and home, maybe one day isn't enough. Devin Tai and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Giving deaf and hearing children a chance to grow and learn together. That's the mission of one school on the Indonesian island of Bali. Donovan Trieste reports on how the school is helping its students start off on an equal footing.
This village on the northern edge of Bali in Indonesia is home to a sign language found nowhere else on Earth, Kata Kolok, or the talk of the deaf. Many residents here in the village of Desa Kolok are deaf, so many that the local way of signing is understood even by the hearing population. This makes school a breeze for both hearing and deaf children, since teachers are able to interpret and switch between spoken and signed language. One of the teachers explains how it works.
The class 1, 2, 3, and 4, the split. Why the split? Because I am focused to alphabet all on and sign. The focus the sign. Only sign, more sign. But the grade 5, the high class in there, I teach more than mathematics, the social, like that.
All the children will grow up signing the local way. But what the teacher means here is that deaf students are also taught standard Indonesian sign language, something completely unrelated. This is the only way they'll be able to communicate with people from outside the village, go beyond elementary education, and one day find work. Still, with the local sign language so prevalent, there's no barrier to communication here.
Biar saya bisa bermain bersama orang tuli bisu. Dan saya juga akur sama Damar dan Rizka dan anak-anak kolok yang lainnya.
And there are signs the teacher's work here is rubbing off on some of the students. This girl, Dama, is signing that her sign language name means sharp nose, that she's in 5th grade, 12 years old, and that her dream is to become a teacher. There's a sense that this school is a special place, one where deaf children are fully included on an equal footing with their hearing peers and being readied to make their dreams come true. Luffy Lee and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thanks for joining us here on What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we leave you with this footage of a 19th century ship, the Bellum, which is carrying the Olympic torch to France. I'm Philip Brossard. Take care, and we'll see you next time.